First part is just to tell you a story about how we got into the ABCD way back from my studies here in 1963. And then I will end up with issues, the major issues that I was listening to from the various groups and the plenary, and how those issues relate to us in our work in Xavier University. First of all, let me just have an introductory thank you remarks. Thank you to Coady for being very generous to me coming here and to participate in this wonderful forum of wonderful people. So I'm very thankful to you. I was singled out as the most senior citizen of the Coady graduates attending this forum. I noted that very much. So I am really tempted to say many things to reminisce after being away for 46 years, but our time won't permit. Well, except to say that it's great to be here again. This is a great institution right here, great place, great history, St. FX, the Coady Institute, with a great history of the Antigonish movement. And this is a great influence to us in the Philippines, in our work among farmers, fishermen, the cooperative movement, so forth and so on. I learned a lot from my studies here, definitely, and here at Coady. Aloysius Fernandez told stories about the cooperatives organized in India. Well, it's the same with us in southern Philippines, where the credit union movement is perhaps the most successful and vibrant movement in the country. We learned the idea of cooperativism from Coady. We learned the Antigonish movement, and when I was, during the play, I was reminded of many things I learned here. Reminded me of the Antigonish movement, the good society that we were talking about. And the 6 principles of the Antigonish movement came back to me. And I want to mention it, but we have no time, so I don't like to go. The play really also reminded me of the great pioneers, Father Moses, Coady, Father Tompkins, masters of their own destiny. I think it was Coady who said something to the effect, ideas have hands and feet. Get them out, and they will travel for you. If I'm not mistaken, it was Coady, or I don't know whether it was Tompkins. How true. The wonderful idea of the ABCD got to the Philippines, to us, through this newsletter that I got in March of 2000. That was how I got introduced to this idea. Wonderful is my favorite expression today. It was wonderful when the ABCD idea reached us and sparked a renewal of the relationship, the wonderful relationship of the Coady Institute and SEARSOLIN, where I worked for so many years. And this led to the renewal of a collaboration that made us work more inspired to do ABCD and to work with communities. So first we began to apply and test the ABCD approach to one rural community, and then moved on to other rural communities later on. There was a Coady staff who was assigned to us for 3 months, and she worked with us. She documented some of her work. But the first thing was to be able to understand what ABCD was. And we introduced it together with the Coady staff to the people, to the staff, and we mulled over it, trying to understand what it is, the implications of it, the shift of the paradigm from what we were doing before. And then we tested it in a rural community, the first community. We gave it a local name. We did not call it ABCD. And I think I'm hearing the semantics, the language issue. We gave it a local name, KKK. I don't like to give you that name. But really, it translates as resources of the community for people, community development. That's what it stands for. It's an acronym, KKKK. Okay, after 3 months of the first work that we did, the report was submitted, and in it were several very good things that we learned about the ABCD. But there was one overriding concern, and it was placed like this: how does the tool or process of ABCD make poor people immersed in poverty for so long feel hopeful and good about their situation because of ABCD amidst the reality of poverty? That was an overriding concern. Very loaded question. This reminds me again of the song that we adapted. Do you know the Impossible Dream? Well, it's very, very meaningful song, but it reminds me of the traditional approach. Again, talking of problems. The impossible dream. How do we solve it? How do we solve poverty in this world? Okay, we went on to apply the ABCD approach to several communities later. 3 of these case studies are in the book of Alison Matthew and Gord Cunningham over there. They went to see us, and they were really immersed in these communities, and they documented it and work on the documentation and the case studies. One is a community predominantly composed of tenant farm families. Another community is composed of landless indigenous peoples. Another community is composed of mainly lowland rice farmers and upland farmers. We have also introduced the ABCD to 5 groups of urban poor. And in our SEARSOLIN program, which is patterned after the Coady Institute, we require our students to make a development action plan. And in this development action plan are 2 parts. The first part is to look at the development setting, and we asked them to replace the DCBA approach or the traditional approach with completely an ABCD approach to their development action planning. We have also been using the ABCD in the cooperative movement. I'm involved now very much in trying to convert a government-owned, controlled water district in my city. We want to make it more a cooperative, owned by the people, controlled by the consumers. So I'm immersed into that. Well, yesterday we shared a lot of things about our experiences. There were group impacts and benefits, many things, many issues also. Let me conclude by highlighting the challenges that relate directly to our own experience in the Philippines. I think the number one is sustainability. It's a major challenge. Small is beautiful is a principle to keep in mind when working with very poor communities or even just poor communities. Coady says, keep your work of development in pace with the people. You cannot run faster than what the people can do. So that registered in my mind. Small steps, yes, but each step is very important to gradually take the bigger issues like social injustice, people empowerment. How do we really empower them so that if we move out, they can take care of themselves and do what they want to do? Second, the shift from the traditional to the ABCD is very, very challenging because many of our facilitators, the change agents, have been ingrained very much into the traditional way, and it's hard for them. And even if they are doing already ABCD, without being conscious about it, they go back to the traditional methods or the traditional paradigm. The third is poor communities look forward to expect tangible benefits and to come out of this process of ABCD. And ABCD must be very conscious of this. And I suppose poor people do not have much resources to speak of. They're still very poor, and this is where they can leverage with the outside agencies. The fourth is leadership, very key issue. How do we form leaders in the ABCD way? And the fifth and the last one, strength of the organization. The cohesiveness of the people. Very important, I think, to work into that. Their integration of what their individual selves are aspiring for and what the organization that they are involved in is also aspiring for, ownership and also the control of what they're doing in their organization. I think those are the only things. Thank you.